Welcome to this comprehensive assessment of Prostavive. In this video, we're going to look directly under the hood of this formula. Based strictly on our research and a careful clinical analysis of the data, we'll be examining the exact ingredients, the manufacturing standards behind it, the biological mechanisms at play, and honestly, the limitations you need to be aware of. We aren't here for hype, we're here for the facts. But right off the bat, let's talk about why you clicked on this video in the first place. Let's be honest. Are frequent nighttime bathroom trips completely ruining your sleep and draining your daytime energy? You know the exact routine I'm talking about. You wake up at 2 in the morning, you finally get back to sleep, and then you're up again at 4. Because of that constant interruption, your brain never actually reaches that deep, restorative phase of sleep. So by the time your alarm finally goes off, you are already exhausted. And that fatigue doesn't just stay in the bedroom. It bleeds into your entire day. It affects your focus at work, your mood around your family, and even your basic confidence. It is a deeply frustrating, exhausting cycle. Look, you are absolutely not alone in this. And ignoring it, well, we know that doesn't make it magically go away. You're here right now because you are looking for an evidence-based, practical solution. And that's exactly what we're going to evaluate. So here is our agenda for this video. We'll quickly cover 1. Understanding the prostate problem. 2. What exactly is Prostavive? 3. A deep dive into the formula. 4. Benefits and expectations. 5. Weighing the pros and cons. And finally, 6. The verdict and buying guide. Section 1. Understanding the prostate problem. Okay, to figure out if a supplement actually works, we first have to understand the biological reality of why men struggle with prostate health as they age. You see, it isn't just about getting older. It's actually about very specific, measurable shifts occurring inside your body that create a compounding problem. Based on our research, the reason a lot of previous solutions fail is that they treat prostate enlargement as just one single isolated issue. But the reality? It's a complex, overlapping interaction of 3 distinct factors. First, you have elevated DHT. This is a specific hormone that literally signals your prostate tissue to grow and expand. Second, there's chronic, low-grade inflammation. This causes localized swelling, which physically squeezes and puts pressure on your bladder and your urethra. And third, you have restricted pelvic blood flow. When circulation is poor, you're essentially starving that tissue of oxygen and preventing your body from flushing out cellular toxins. It's a biological trio, and if a formula only targets one of these 3 things, it's almost always going to fall short. Section 2. What exactly is Prostavive? When we evaluate any supplement, where it's made and how it's made is just as crucial as what is actually inside the bottle. Prostavive is formulated as a daily natural powder supplement specifically designed to address those 3 biological factors we just talked about. Now, based on the analysis, this product is manufactured right here in the USA inside an FDA-registered facility. But more importantly than that, it is GMP certified. That stands for Good Manufacturing Practice. Why does that matter to you? It means the manufacturer is legally required to test their raw materials for purity and actively prevent contamination. The formula itself is non-GMO, it's free from common allergens like gluten, dairy, and soy, and it's completely stimulant-free. And you'll notice it comes as a powder, not a capsule. That is a highly deliberate choice. Powders generally allow for faster, more efficient absorption in your digestive tract compared to tightly packed capsules that your stomach acid has to break down first. By the way, I want to mention this early on. If at any point during this video you decide this product is the right fit for your routine, the absolute only safe place to purchase it is through the official website. I've linked it directly in the description below this video to save you the trouble of hunting for it. I'll explain more about why that is so critical regarding counterfeits in a few minutes, but for now, just know that link is there for you. So the real question is, how does this powder actually operate once it's inside your body? Based on the scientific data we reviewed, Prostavive takes a highly sequential 3-step approach. Step 1 is heavily focused on boosting nitric oxide levels in your blood. Nitric oxide signals your blood vessels to relax and widen. This improves your overall circulation right down to the pelvic floor, which brings in fresh nutrients and flushes out stagnant cellular waste. Step 2 works specifically on reducing that internal, localized inflammation. By calming down the swollen prostate tissue, it physically relieves the mechanical pressure pushing against your bladder. Finally, step 3 involves modulating the specific enzyme called 5-alpha reductase that converts your free testosterone into that problematic DHT. By slowing that conversion down, it helps manage the primary hormonal trigger that tells the prostate to enlarge in the first place. Section 3. Let's take a deep dive into the formula. The primary botanical lineup here is genuinely robust. First up, we have saw palmetto. This is arguably the most widely studied botanical for men's health, and based on our research, its main job is to act directly on that enzyme we just mentioned, helping block the conversion of testosterone to DHT. That is absolutely vital for maintaining a strong urinary flow. Then you have boron. This is a trace mineral heavily linked in the clinical literature to healthy hormone metabolism and reducing key inflammatory markers in the blood. But what makes this formula particularly interesting to us is the inclusion of specific adaptogens, namely ashwagandha, tongkat, maca, and fenugreek. You see, these don't just blindly target the prostate, they target the stress hormone cortisol. When your cortisol is chronically high from stress or lack of sleep, it totally disrupts your testosterone balance. So by calming your nervous system with ashwagandha and supporting your natural hormone production with tongkat, maca, and fenugreek, you indirectly create a much healthier, more stable hormonal environment. Rounding this out is nettle root. Based on the data, nettle root is highly targeted at reducing that sudden panicked feeling of urinary urgency by promoting smooth muscle relaxation right around the bladder itself. Now, building directly on top of those botanicals, the formula includes a very solid foundation of essential minerals, zinc, magnesium, and vitamin D3. In my assessment, this is a highly logical and necessary inclusion. Your prostate tissue actually contains some of the highest concentrations of zinc in the entire male body. It relies heavily on zinc for basic cellular repair and maintaining normal function. Then you have magnesium. This is the body's primary relaxation mineral. It is absolutely critical for muscle relaxation, which helps significantly with daytime bladder control, and, importantly, nighttime sleep quality. Finally, vitamin D3 is included because it's a fundamental building block for healthy immune responses and overall hormonal stability. Look, these aren't the flashy, exotic ingredients that get all the marketing hype, but biologically speaking, they are strictly necessary for the rest of those botanicals to do their jobs effectively. However, we have to be completely objective here, and that means pointing out a distinct weakness in this formula. While the specific ingredients we just walked through are clinically relevant and very well chosen, the exact milligram dosages of several of these ingredients are hidden behind what the industry calls a proprietary blend. Now, to be fair, this is a highly common practice in the supplement industry. Companies do it to protect their exact recipes from copycat competitors. But from a strict analytical and clinical standpoint, it limits our ability to independently verify if every single individual herb is dosed at the absolute highest clinical threshold. The ingredient profile itself is rock solid, but the lack of total public transparency on every single measurement is a definite limitation, and it's something you should be clearly aware of before buying. Section 4. Benefits and realistic expectations. 60 to 90 days. I want you to remember that time frame. Based on our research into the biological mechanisms of these ingredients, this is the most important metric for your success. Natural dietary supplements do not act like harsh prescription drugs. They don't force a sudden violent chemical change in your body overnight. Instead, they provide specific nutritional building blocks that your body utilizes to gradually reduce chronic inflammation and slowly rebalance your hormones. Because of how the human body works, a 60 to 90-day biological window is generally required to see real, compounding, cumulative benefits in your urinary flow and bladder control. It just takes time to shrink swollen tissue. If you don't have the patience to stick with a daily routine for that 2 to 3 month window, then honestly, a natural approach like this might not be for you. Let's manage expectations and clearly separate what is highly likely to happen from what definitely won't. Based on the evidence, what is likely over time is a gradual but noticeable improvement in the strength of your urinary flow and a significant reduction in those frustrating nighttime bathroom trips. What is possible, as a secondary ripple effect of finally getting uninterrupted sleep and bringing your hormones into balance, is enhanced daily energy, better focus, and improved overall vitality. However, what is highly unlikely is any kind of instant overnight relief. You won't take this on a Tuesday and be totally fine by Wednesday. Furthermore, we need to be crystal clear. This supplement is not going to cure severe, medically diagnosed benign prostatic hyperplasia. Prostavive is a supportive, nutritional wellness supplement. It is absolutely not a medical cure. Section 5. Weighing the pros and cons. Let's put this all on the table and look at the pros and cons side by side. On the pro side, you are getting a 100% natural, non-GMO formula. It's manufactured in a strict GMP-certified facility, which gives you peace of mind regarding quality control. It provides multi-angle biological support, meaning it tackles circulation, inflammation, and hormone balance all at the same time. Plus, it comes back by a very strong money-back guarantee, which we'll discuss shortly. Now, on the con side, we aren't going to hide the negatives. First, it carries a premium price tag. This is not a cheap $5 drugstore vitamin. Second, it is only available to purchase online, which can be slightly inconvenient if you prefer buying things locally. Third, as we stressed, it requires real patience and a daily commitment of several months. And finally, the exact milligram dosages within the proprietary blend are not fully transparent. And that brings us to what we call the clinical gap. We prefer to state this plainly so you have all the facts. While the individual ingredients in this formula, things like the saw palmetto, the boron, the zinc, the adaptogens, have extensive scientific backing and dozens of published peer-reviewed data sets regarding men's health, there is no independent, peer-reviewed clinical trial testing this specific combined Prostavive formula in a large human control group. Now, to be fair, this is standard operating procedure for the vast majority of dietary supplements on the market today. It's incredibly rare for a supplement brand to fund multi-million-dollar independent studies, but it is a fact you should know. In our assessment, we are relying on the established science of the individual components rather than one single master study of the final jar. Section 6. The Final Verdict and Buying Guide. In my assessment, after looking at all of the data, Prostavive is best suited for men over the age of 40 who are currently experiencing early to moderate prostate symptoms. If you're starting to wake up a couple of times a night, or you're noticing your flow isn't as strong as it used to be, and you want to take a proactive, natural approach to support your health before it gets worse, this is a very solid option. However, you should absolutely skip this product if you are under 18, more importantly, if your symptoms are severe, like you are in physical pain or completely unable to urinate, you need to close this video and seek immediate medical intervention from a urologist. You should never, ever substitute a daily wellness supplement for professional medical care. If you do fall into the appropriate category of men who can benefit from this, let's quickly review the official pricing tiers. A single starter bottle is priced at $69. If you step up to 3 bottles, it remains $69 per bottle, but you get a couple of digital bonus health guides included for free. The 6-bottle package drops your cost down to $59 per bottle and also includes those free bonuses. Based heavily on the biological timelines we discussed earlier, we naturally recommend the largest 6-bottle package. Why? It's simple biology. Supplements take time to build up in your system. Running out of your powder at day 30, right when those botanical ingredients are finally beginning to compound and do their heavy lifting, completely prevents you from seeing real, lasting results. Securing a 6-month supply prevents any gaps in your daily routine, gives the formula the proper time to work, and frankly, offers you the best financial value with the lowest cost per bottle. Now, I need you to listen closely because I have to issue a very genuine, very urgent warning. The men's health supplement industry has a massive, frankly dangerous counterfeit problem right now. The official manufacturer of Prostavive has explicitly stated that they do not authorize the sale of this product on any third-party platforms. That includes Amazon, eBay, Walmart.com, or any random supplement depot sites. The fake products being sold on these third-party sites are visually identical on the outside, but inside the tub, it's a completely different story. Counterfeits often contain incredibly cheap chemical fillers, completely wrong ingredients, or even dangerous heavy metal contaminants, because unauthorized factories have zero regulatory quality control. People have reported getting seriously sick from buying cheap knockoffs. To ensure you are putting the safe, GMP-certified, properly tested formula into your body, purchasing only through the verified official channel is absolutely critical. The link I've placed in the description below this video takes you directly to the manufacturer's official secure checkout. Not a reseller, not a third-party listing. That is the only link I share because it's the only source I can actually trust. Furthermore, purchasing through that specific official channel is the only way to secure your 180-day money-back guarantee. And in my assessment, this is a highly significant factor in your buying decision. 180 days is a massive 6-month, completely risk-free trial window. It tells me that the manufacturer deeply understands that 60 to 90-day biological window required for natural supplements to do their job. It gives you more than ample time to use the product daily and evaluate for yourself if the formula is successfully supporting your urinary flow and improving your sleep quality without carrying any financial risk whatsoever. If it doesn't work for your specific biology, you just request a refund. As we wrap up this assessment, I want to remind you that navigating prostate health is stressful and exhausting enough without having to worry about being scammed by fake products. Please protect your health and your wallet by ensuring you only rely on the verified official source we analyzed in this video today. Again, that verified link is right down there in the description box for you. We've covered the underlying biology, we've broken down the exact ingredients, we've set a highly realistic timeline for success, and we've gone over the necessary safety and buying protocols. The science behind these individual ingredients is very clear, and honestly, the choice is now yours. Are you going to continue to let disrupted sleep, frustration, and daytime fatigue dictate how you live your life? Or will you take a proactive, informed, evidence-based step for your long-term prostate health today? Thank you so much for joining me for this deep dive.